may affect the future of entire regions, and there are many decisions to make.
Which decisions are actually available depend on which sets of side quests that you've done. And this is what I mean when I say everything in this game has been built not just 3 times or 4 times, but some of the things have been built 20 times because they can have multiple different futures, they can be different colors, they can be underwater or not underwater. And what you're seeing here is that certain areas of the city that used to be destroyed and decrepit have become nice and upscale, and other areas of the city that used to be nice and upscale have become old and decrepit, bringing a bit more of a balance to the city that used to be one very poor area and one very rich area. So those are some examples of how the time powers work. Let's go ahead and move on to the combat. So here are the enemies we'll be facing in this random battle. As you can see, this is a traditional turn-based JRPG. So at the top of the screen, we have a turn order bar that shows you the sequence in which each of the characters will be acting. We have enemies on both the left and the right, and you can choose to attack in either direction. You can also use skills and spells, use items to heal your party members, defend or pass your turn so that someone else can act. So in this case, we'll go ahead and pass our turn so that Wilhelm can act. In addition to these sort of standard elements of JRPG combat, we also have an attack enhancement and defense system that's based on timing button presses as you attack or defend yourself from enemy attacks. So for example, if I attack this enemy on the right, and I press the button right before I hit them, he'll do a follow-up attack that will do additional damage. It'll do more damage the better my timing is, and in that instance I got a critical hit. Here you can see I defended myself from the enemy's counterattack. I got it deflected. That's not the best version of it, but the better your timing is, the more of the damage you'll actually reduce. And of course, it's not just regular physical attacks that can be enhanced this way. Spells and abilities can also be enhanced, and doing that can change the properties of those spells and abilities. So for example, I can use Christopher's Fireball spell on this enemy, and if I successfully enhance it here, which I did, it will light that enemy on fire, and now it's taking damage turn over turn. So in addition to the enhance system, we have another system which is basically Crispell being able to use her time powers in combat to affect her enemies. So Cris Tales is fundamentally a game about manipulating and controlling time. So for example, we can send this enemy that's on the left into the past, making it into a younger version of itself. It's weaker, but quicker in this particular state. And different enemies have different benefits, or sometimes it's not at all beneficial even, to send them into the future or into the past. So for example, you might have a young dragon that if you send it into the past, it's just an egg, but if you send it into the future, it's a powerful dragon that's going to kick your butt. So you sort of have to plan strategically as to what you want to do given which enemies are on which side of the battlefield. I'm going to go ahead and attack this enemy here. And it looks like Wilhelm's getting a little bit low, so I'll heal him up real quick. Here we go. And now we will defend ourselves. So this is a multi-part attack. I have to defend against it multiple times in a row. And so now it's Crispell's turn again, and we can use her time powers again. So this time I'm going to send the enemy in the right into the future. And that is going to make it an older version of itself, yes, but that enemy is also currently on fire. And so when I send it into the future, what do you think is going to happen? Well, in the future, it's already taken all of that fire damage. And so that damage all comes in and hits it at once as one giant burst. And of course, this doesn't only work with fire, it works with regen spells and things like that, poison, as well as other more off-the-wall things. So for example, in the public demo that we have out there, there's an enemy that can only be defeated by rusting its metal shield by first getting it wet and then sending it into the future. Similarly, you can have plants that will grow much bigger if you first use a water spell on them and then send them into the future. So there are many different interactions between Crispell's time powers and the various status effects and ailments that can be applied to enemies during combat. Now, this is not the only system that adds complexity and depth to what's going on in the combat. There's actually more even on top of just this. So there's also a system called the Synchro system, and there I failed to defend myself. But there's also a system called the Synchro system, which I'll be showing off now, which allows Crispell to use her time powers to speed up an ally so that he can create crazy combos. So for example, here we'll invoke the Synchro with Wilhelm and do his Yucca Rain, and have him heal the party and send a whole bunch of exploding plant bombs at this enemy over here. And so here you'll see Crispell using her time powers to accelerate Wilhelm and let him take a whole bunch of actions all at once. Boom. And so we can go ahead. You'll notice when you're attacking across time, you send out an astral projection of yourself as well. So the synchro system allows Crispell to set up combos with her different characters. So for example, Christopher here has a water spell which gets enemies wet and makes them more susceptible to lightning, and also has a lightning spell. So you can set up a combo with him that involves starting with the water spell and then proceeding into the lightning spell for extra bonus damage, and then you can follow up, or you could light the enemy on fire and then follow up by sending them into the future with Crispell, things like that. These systems provide a huge number of possible interactions between all of the different characters, and a huge number of different ways in which you can approach each battle. Of course, this is only a small glimpse into the full game. The final product will be over 20 hours long and contains dozens of enemies, unique, powerful bosses, and a complete world full of different kingdoms to explore. We hope you're as excited to experience it as we are to be bringing it to life. Thanks, and have a great day. Hello and welcome to Chris Tales. My name is Derek Neal, and I am very excited to present to you this upcoming indie RPG. We call it our love letter to the classic JRPGs of the past, and by that we mean that this game takes a lot of inspiration from classics like Chrono Trigger, Secret of Mana, Final Fantasies 4 and 6, Super Mario RPG, and more. But it also has a lot of its own style, personality, and charm. Rather than just copying those games, we've done our best to build upon the elements that we thought made them great, to create something new and surprising for players to explore. Fans of classic JRPGs will feel right at home with Chris Tales, but they will also quickly learn that there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. Speaking of what meets the eye, the first thing I'd like to draw your attention to is just how beautiful this game really is. Everything is completely hand-drawn, hand-animated frame by frame in the traditional style, layered on top of itself to create the illusion of 3D movement in this world. I'd also like to introduce you to our heroine, Crispell, who is a young orphan girl from the city of Narim. She recently had her rose stolen from her, and she has traced it all the way here to this cathedral. And this is where something strange happens. Crispell has a vision, and she suddenly realizes that she has special powers that most people don't. You see, Chris Tales is first and foremost a game about the experience of, interaction with, and manipulation of time. And elements of time manipulation permeate virtually every element of this game. And we will go over a lot of those in this demo, and I'll show you many different ways in which time mechanics interact in unique ways. One of the first is what you see before you right now, which is Crispell's ability to see the past, the present, and the future, all in real time, all on one screen, all at the same time. So on the left you have the past, where you can see the statues being built, and on the right you have the future, where you can see they're sort of overgrown with vines. Of course, this isn't just buildings and things like that, but the people, the places, the towns, the artifacts, everything that makes up the culture that these people live in. So for example, here on the left we have Old Lady Magda, who was a young, handsome woman in the past. And on the right we have young Marco, who in the future grows up to be a strapping teenager. Every single element in this game has been built at least 3 times, and many of them 20, 30, or more times, because there are also things that you can change about the past or the present in order to change things in the present or the future. And I'll be giving you some examples of that in just a little bit. As we come down here, we'll see a part of the city that has been destroyed in the future. This is the apothecary shop on the left, and the miller's house on the right. Fortunately, we are time mages, and we don't have to just wait for these visions to come true. We can try to do things to affect them.
В Уэстбруке травма-тим отскребает от асфальта жертв очередного кибер...
Приветствую всех! С вами быстрые новости. Вчера ведь у всех свет вырубило. В это время я как раз готовила ужин. Точнее, разогревала в микроволновке буррито, которое нашла за диваном.
Я буду на связи. Аккуратная диверсия. Это мой конек.
Эй, ты откуда здесь? Это территория корпорации.
Я внутри.
Хорошо, теперь попробуй забраться в ангар. А я пока отвлеку их внимание.
На нас напали! Этого не может быть! Бля! Ха-ха! Ему пиздец! Выходи давай! Руки так, чтоб я видел! наверняка где-то рядом.
Я на месте.
Больной, что ли?
Да, я слышу. Я просил не шуметь.
Ну извините, что-то пошло не по плану.
Ты беги к платформе, а я их отвлеку.
Что? Правда его снял?
Ты сумасшедший.
Я еще молодой!
станешь легкой мишенью. Эй, даже я тебя вижу.
Вы были правы. Точка доступа к системам безопасности тут.
Хорошо, я тоже подвигаюсь вперед.
Твою ж мать! Отступаем! Прямо по курсу! Стреляй! Стреляй! Террористов надо истребить.
Тут тесно, как в жопе. И воняет так же.
Ты подышишь свежим воздухом, когда выйдешь к складам.
Мы уязвимы!
Все, я внутри.
Ищи самую большую платформу, пульт управления. Это может быть обычный компьютер.
Ясно. А у вас как?
Хорошо. Я приду в диспетчерскую и устрою полный хаос. Очень хорошо. Я готов. Как только ты закончишь, я инфицирую системы.
Сука! Сука! Быстро, быстро! Стреляй! Быстро, быстро! Я еще молодой! Убей или будь убит! Огонь! Несем большие потери! хочу!
Но платформа в нашем распоряжении. Можете долететь до Токио, если хотите.
Возможно, я так и сделаю. Спасибо. Теперь моя очередь. Видишь? Полный хаос. Даже крыша понемногу. Ви, крыша, уходи через нее. Рядом несколько зданий поменьше. По ним ты спустишься вниз. Ви, Лучше поторопись. Арасака вызвала Ави.
Сработало.
Неплохо, Ви.
Так, что теперь?
Теперь тебе и мне надо отступить в тень и вооружиться терпением. Я свяжусь с тобой перед началом парада. Постарайся держаться подальше от неприятностей.
Как будто это я их ищу.